Okay. You're live and you got audio.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give you a few minutes. Now, we'll keep the chat open if you would like to, guys, with the Blog Talk page. Whether it's Kara, whether it's Diane, any of you guys that are picking us up now on the YouTube channel, Norine Bailovich's YouTube channel, please confirm with us in the Blog Talk chat, which is where Andrea and I can still keep tabs on what you guys are doing, what you're talking about. That is the place that, and you finally get to see us live, video live, which is something we may start doing on Tuesdays through our YouTube channel also, exactly the way that Norine has provided for us tonight. But we need some confirmations from you guys in the Blog Talk chat that we can still have you there. So, am I gone?
No,
Can you hear me in?
you're there. Hey, you know what? There's a chat room on YouTube. There is a chat room.
I know, but how can we see it?
Oh, you'd have to have your computer on.
Well, my computer is on. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
you'd have to go to that URL.
Oh, I can go to that URL also?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, just make sure you don't have the sound on.
Oh, I'm on headphones anyway, so there shouldn't be a problem. All right, yeah. And Andrea, see, I'm live. Let's see if Andrea's here. I think they're trying to get her Skype going now, too.
Yeah, you got 9 people in the chat over there.
Okay, I see you guys pulling into the chat now, which is good. There seems to be a little bit of a delay on the video, but I don't think that's an issue.
30-second delay.
Okay, that's where we confused. Gotcha. All right, Andrea, you are there?
I am.
Are you going up on video, or is just everybody going to stare at me drinking my coffee and smoking my cigarette?
Yeah, okay.
If you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I'm just thinking, how can I watch the chat room in Blog Talk and see what's going on in YouTube and have pictures up
Multiple
at
tabs.
the same time?
Multiple tabs. That's how I do it. All I have to do is click a tab on top on Google between Blog Talk chat and a World Awakening video that's going on right now.
Okay, well, I'm not really prepared.
Don't worry about it then. That's fine. You don't worry about it. Just you have your picture up there. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, no, I'm here. I'm
There you
here. Oh.
go. All right, everybody. Quick, Norine, how much time do we have?
As long as you want.
All right. We're going to do a 7-hour show tonight, ladies.
You got it. You got it. You can have as long as you want.
Got my coffee in hand, so as long as we have this, we're good to go. So very unorthodox, very unique, very different start for our Tuesday show. I want to welcome everybody. Yes, you are watching A World Awakening with Andrea Perron and George Lopez. It's definitely a unique one tonight. I had this entire beautiful start of the show, Andrea, where I was playing John Lennon's Imagine.
Yeah.
And
Imagine that.
unfortunately, we could not in any means get things going with Blog Talk tonight. This may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. This may be the final decision for me to, after 8 years with Blog Talk, unless they give me one hell of a credit, there's no way, shape, or form that I'm going to continue this nightmare that's been happening lately. They've been having a lot of technical difficulties. Norine's show, I like the way that she can click from one screen to the next and have pictures up there, whatever she wants to do. That might be the way for us to go from this point. Maybe it's time we step into the second half of the first decade of this new century and start using that technology. So let's go that route. But
I think that's right, George. I think that it is time for us to take a step up because 24 people waited in our chat room for an hour at A World Awakening. We have devoted people who follow us every week that are right here with us, participating with us, and were kind enough to give an hour of their time just waiting to see if we could get the show up and running tonight. And I think that we owe them the consistency that we strive for in terms of research, in terms of writing, in terms of everything else that we do, we also strive for with the World Awakening. And for the most part, it's been very reliable. For the most part, it's gone well. But, these are issues. You lost a show with Mike last week. We almost lost tonight's show. It's time to make a change, or, have them pay you to do the show and make it worth your while, because, you put a lot of effort and time. You're the brains behind this. You do all the technical stuff. You take care of everything. And I type the thank you at the end of the show, which is lovely. It's nice, but you do the work. And, so it's your call ultimately. I just want to be here week in and week out for the tribe. I do.
Yeah, the same as you weren't prepared, I was not prepared tonight either. I look like the Hamburglar. I looked like one of those.
Very cute. I know my picture for you. I saw.
You remember that? Remember that movie Anchors Away with Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra?
Of course.
The sailor outfit here. That's my design tonight. But before you proceed on with the show tonight, you've been up in Villarica celebrating your mother's birthday this weekend, correct?
Oh, yes. It was wonderful. It was yesterday. She turned 76. I don't know. I got 500 or 600 posts on Facebook of congratulations to her and happy birthday to her. It really touched her heart. It was a lovely outpouring of affection and emotion. It's hard. I think of her, she's my mom, George, like your mom's your mom, but my mom is known all over the world through my books. And even though the vast majority of people who claim to love her and adore her have never met her and never will, it doesn't stop them from feeling profound affection for her and all she went through at the farm and all she's been through in her life. And she's still so resilient and so resourceful and so fully alive at 76. And we celebrate her. And she loved talking to you.
She's wonderful. She really is. She's a super, super lady. Super, super lady. Again, you guys hear these little noises and stuff that go on. It's my chair. Those of you who listen to us regularly on Blog Talk when we're doing either a World Awakening or I'm on prime time, and you're like, what's that noise in the background? It sounds like a door creaking. Now you've got the visual. That's my chair. And I've oiled it and it still continues to come back there. So, but anyway.
Hey, telling you, it'll do the trick.
We didn't have a guest scheduled tonight. This is a forum that I wanted to get into discussion with, along with Andrea, and it would have been great to have you guys available for call-in in this circumstance. I don't know whether or not that capability is here with regards to Norine's setup channel. Never even considered that. Ask her about that. If she happens to pop back in, I'll ask her at that point in time. But I've been, I guess in a sense, scanning different shows on the internet, watching some stuff. I got caught up, and I mentioned this last night, Andrea. I was watching, you remember the series that had gone on for quite some time called Scared Straight, and a follow-up show called Beyond Scared Straight, where they took these troubled teens and they took them to different prisons, jails, county jails realistically across the United States, filmed it where they were meeting the inmates and trying to turn their lives around, catch it at an early point in time. The thing I was noticing, pattern after pattern after pattern, is the difference between watching a series on regular television that you're watching it once a week, you forget about it, or however often it comes up. In this particular case, this is one that you can watch one after another on Netflix. Anyway, one pattern I was noticing more than anything else was that all of the kids had major anger issues. And I was wondering, why? This isn't where every single one of these kids come from a deprived life, where, I mean, there's a lot of it where it's single parent situations, divorce situations, stepfather, stepmother situations, but you look at their homes and they're provided everything. And I could not understand it. So the premise behind what I came up with tonight, Andrea, this is a broad topic. This is why we probably could easily fill in those 2 hours right now. Is in regards, above us only sky is not an alien term. It's not a religious term. It's everything. When I was looking at this and trying to wonder in my mind is, why would any intelligent life even want to interact with us? Why would any deity at the same time, or the antithesis, allow what's happening to continue? I looked in the process of this, and I wrote these particular things down. That so much anger that's going on in the world right now. I'm mentioning again just the children from this television series. It's been going on for about, maybe even a decade, scared straight. I don't know how long they've been going on. War from religion that has been going on since the dawn of man.
Yeah.
Starving people in the 21st century, even in our country, that don't need to be.
Yeah.
And then I started looking into this, Andrea, and it's part of what we've been doing with our writing within a flicker, that you tell me if every single one of the 7 deadly sins is not applicable to today's society. Lust. Right?
Yeah.
Is lust applicable today?
Yes. All of them are.
Gluttony, greed,
Yep.
sloth, phone calls.
It's not me. Oh, no.
Call from is Phil.
Sorry.
Call from is Phil.
Hello?
Hello?
Just took it out of the room.
And-
Sloth, wrath,
Yeah.
envy, pride. It's everything from a biblical standpoint at its most raw. And I don't understand, and this is where I want to discuss this with you tonight. You are actively into politics. You're actively into environment. Everything that's been going on. And if you were in a court of law with the Galactic, if you're in a court of law with angels, how do you even sell on them helping us or communicating with us, when the things that are going on right now would be, if the world was all a small neighborhood, would you move out?
Yeah. And I hate to say that, because that's probably not what a lot of my followers expect to hear. But if I had a free ride out into the cosmos, and I could just, here's the thing for me, George. And I had a feeling you were going to go there with me tonight with this show, and I'm glad that I invested some thought into it prior. And I'll preface my remarks with this. Today, a big fat Canadian high came down over Georgia, and it dried the air out, and the sky was crystal clear, so blue it hurt to look at. It was a perfect fall day in August. It was the light in August that my mother so frequently talks about, the brilliant novel by William Faulkner, but also the sensation and the feeling of the change of season and the waning of summer And I was outside today watching a spider build its web. And all the pretty little, almost like the filigree that comes to the point. I mean, it was just, I stood there at least 20 minutes watching this little tiny black spider build something that was a piece of artwork that was so beautiful that it took my breath away. And I looked up into the sky, and I said out loud, it is eerily quiet up there. What's going on? Is anything going on? And, I've seen a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of experiences in my life that some people perhaps wouldn't be able to relate to. But I know what I know, and I know that the cosmos is a very active place, and that there's something beyond our mortal existence. There are spirits. There is life teeming around us. I feel that viscerally. I know it intellectually. But there are times, George, I feel utterly abandoned on this globe. There are times when I feel like my voice is mute, that I make absolutely no difference in the grand scheme of things, that no matter how hard I try to make a difference in the world, it's just not fast enough, it's not big enough, it's not loud enough, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. It feels like it's evil's last stand. I hope that it's evil's last stand, but I think that there are times in my life I've looked up and said, is anyone there? Is anyone going to intervene on our behalf? We're in deep trouble here. Doesn't anyone hear our prayers? I've been there, I know.
I titled tonight's show originally as Above Us Only Sky, that there are so many of us, whether it's in the paranormal community under the guise, the intent of spirit contact. There is the other part that is looking for that extraterrestrial connection. And I think about this again, and maybe there needs to be a shift. Now, again, you talk about it. There was something that just came on recently, a commercial. There's a new device that's out there called the Amazon Alexa. Have you seen this?
No.
It's this little talking box kind of a thing. There was another one too, some kind of a Jibot or something like that. But it was, again, these devices that are kind of answer questions. It's almost like speaking to your smartphone, asking questions. What's the best restaurant in town, Italian restaurant, things like that. But as they're asking this, the guy is in the kitchen. He says, tell me about the universe, and it starts explaining the universe. And then he stops and he says, Alexa, is there intelligent life out there in the universe? And this little robot says, there is no proof of extraterrestrial life. There's a good consensus of this world that probably thinks on those bases that we possibly are alone. Should we stop looking at this savior mentality, and do we need to start fixing ourselves? As a race, do we need to start fixing ourselves? We've got a lot of repairs to be done, from the aspect of religion, from the aspect of the family unit, from the aspect of our environment. I mean, our environmental catastrophes that just happen alone do horrific damage to us, whether it be earthquakes, whether it be tornadoes, whether it be tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. I mean, there's a bunch of things that happen that are just manifested by Mother Earth. We create enough of our own on top of that. The explosions that are going on in China right now.
Daiichi. is the byproduct of a tsunami. 3 out of 4 reactors in complete meltdown. Governments all over the world slowly, quietly, legally raising radiation limits and what they've decided we can tolerate. We're poisoning ourselves. I don't think that they're mutually exclusive, George. I think that it's perfectly plausible that there's plenty of help out there for us, that we would really, as a race, would need to ask for it and hope that they would be amenable to.
But that's the key. We can ask for it.
But it's their decision. It's their decision. It's their decision whether or not to intervene on our behalf. And I think that they're probably looking down on it and saying, "Physician, heal thyself. You people created this problem. Now you fix it." And yet I think that there's a lot of accumulated evidence. There are people, former astronauts, that are on the record saying extraterrestrial vessels have disabled the nuclear warheads. This isn't small potatoes. This is serious stuff. This isn't something that, people can laugh about it all they want to. They can dismiss it all they want to. In the same respect, with the spirits, their existence is not contingent upon our belief in them. In the same way that extraterrestrials' existence is not contingent upon our belief in them. But I think that we have to, at some point, really understand that we have to be part of our own healing, that this needs to be a global healing. And frankly, there are times it feels completely overwhelming to me, George, completely overwhelming. Like, really? I think about the archaeologist in Syria who devoted his entire life to preserving the antiquities of one of the oldest places on the entire planet that just got blown to smithereens today by ISIS after they cut his head off. And I say, what was his life for? What was it for? They just claimed it, and then they just exploded everything he worked a lifetime to protect for the world. Where are we? Where are we? It doesn't matter how many of us are good to the core. It doesn't matter how many of us are good to the core if we can't defeat evil on this planet.
Define that. That's the problem. You're using the blanketed statement of evil. This is all, everything is all man-made. That, what you're titling as evil is constructed and destructed by human beings. And it just seems as if there's no outlet to this from a humanity standpoint, because we are not those who are in power. And it almost seems as if, again, it's the same situation, I think, that when we get down to the brass tacks of power in our society, not just our country, but worldwide, would not a presence from a biblical standpoint or from a galactic standpoint pose a threat to those who now hold all the cards?
Yes, that's a big, fat yes.
That's my concern.
Threat, because what we're talking about creating and co-creating at this time in world history, in human history, is a shift in understanding and awareness of an old reality. It is, our reality has not changed, but our awareness of our reality is burgeoning in new, and I think that what we're seeing is a more well-defined, more enhanced duality in this three-dimensional, five-sensory realm we call Earth right now. And I think that change is happening worldwide. I don't think that it's happening fast enough, and I don't know if it could happen fast enough to save us. And I'm very concerned that the human race is breathing its last breath. And I know that's going to shock people who listen to me, and say, oh, I'm so inspired, I'm so uplifted. Well, I have these thoughts too. It's not just all rose-colored glasses. We're on the precipice. We're killing ourselves. We're killing our planet. We don't have any other place to go. And the people who are profiteering at the expense of those that are just trying to keep a roof over their heads and survive from one week to the next, one paycheck to the next, have masked in an almost, it's almost like a sleep. It's almost like a drugged state, a sleep. And I'm always saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. This is what's really going on in the world. Wake up. If we don't stand up against it, it will run over us like a bulldozer. And I hear the engine coming. And a handful of people, really, in terms of 7.2 billion people on this planet, and a handful are running the show.
Let me ask you this, Andrea, from a monetary standpoint. Divine intervention is discovered and says all the religions are wrong, there's only one, and here it is. Is there a lot of money lost in that circumstance?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah,
tons
yeah.
of money, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Think about it in terms of, so many have also said...
Oh, you're cutting out on your Skype. Oh, no, that could be me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's just, we're fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think that a lot of technology has been shared with us, and I think that there's a very elite group of people that manage it. There have been some great minds on this planet, including Nikola Tesla, who was in a position to be able to, through his own invention, afford free electricity for everybody on the planet. And it was, it disappeared. It disappeared, and so did he.
Let's keep that concept rolling. Let's look at extraterrestrial contact saying, oh, goodness, you guys still dealing with cancer? Oh, we have the cure for cancer here.
Right.
How much money is lost there? How much money?
Right. What if there was no need for a pharmaceutical industry, no need for a medical industry, no need for a gas and oil industry, no need for a railroad industry, no need for a car industry? It would change everything that we know as civilized, capitalized, the first world. The whole entire first world would change. And what people fail to understand is that this is one world, and that there's enough food, and there's enough water, and there's enough for everyone to thrive on this planet, everyone, and yet not everyone does. And you and I live better than about 99% of the people on the planet, George. And that's something that I remind myself about every single day. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a little child growing up during the Afghanistan war, or growing up in Iraq, or growing up in Gaza, or growing up and wondering when the next bomb is going to come over their heads. There are very few people who control some very big weapons on this planet, weapons of mass destruction. And whether that be nuclear warheads, ICBMs, sarin gas, Asar al-Bashar, it is a maniac, is a monster. In the same way that Saddam Hussein was. There's 63 different dictators that are in place right now on this planet. Right now. Pick one. Who do you want to overthrow next? I mean, this is what we face as a world race. When are the people going to stand up and say, this isn't how we're going to live anymore, and you're not the boss of me anymore, and I am free? Who's going to overthrow the Ayatollah in Iran? Who's going to overthrow every single dictator that comes in to take their place, George?
It's very
We have
possible.
to think differently. We have to think our way out of this situation. It can't be about one war after another. Because as Gandhi said, when it's an eye for an eye, everyone ends up blind.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's more being done in regards to upheaval, in regards to protesting. I mean, what they've done in Spain, what they've done in Saudi Arabia. They have
Venezuela. Yep.
And so at least they're making the effort. We're here, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Again, there is such a methodology to our government, to our structure, where from the middle class down, we have been so overwhelmed or overly distracted. We don't make the effort to gather together to collaborate like we did in the 60s. Why? Because we don't want to miss The Bachelor. We don't want to miss Survivor. We don't want to miss Big Brother. We don't want to miss, our favorite TV shows. Or we are so absolutely overwhelmed financially that we have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs because we've got our kids to take care of. We've got to focus on trying to still be a parent while be a provider for ourselves, keep a roof over our heads. We just cannot pick up and just overwhelm Washington. We can't do it. It's a shame of the matter, but it's a very, very smart structural way of going about this. Now, let me play devil's advocate to you, Andrea, and the other side. With all of the wars and all of the man-made catastrophes and the global catastrophes, natural occurrences have gone on, there are still over 7 billion people on this planet. It's grown exponentially over the last 20 years and continues to go in that direction. What I'm trying to see is whether or not, if there was cures for all these diseases, if there was better medicine, if everyone on this planet was equally fed to the justifiable means that we have but are not using, is that going to be a benefit or a hindrance? Are things happening the way that they're supposed to be happening, is my point.
George, I think that there are 2 distinct mindsets. I can't speak about the rest of the world, but I can speak about our part of the world, United States, which I know very well. I know the political system. I know, to the extent that a layperson is able, I know a great deal about our societal structure from a sociological standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint, from a capitalistic standpoint. What I see happening in our country is the entrenched, ingrained duality of mindsets. One of them is, all for me, you're on your own. I work hard for my money. It's mine. Back away. The other one is, we're all in this together. We have to help each other and find our way out together. Sink or swim as one. They're 2 very specific mindsets that I think you see embattled in our political system. I think that you see it in our societal system in terms of the class structure that we always deny because it's so politically incorrect to discuss it. But we have a cultural and a class structure in this country that is counterproductive to our own values and ideals philosophically as a country. And until we start to really I don't see it swinging one way exclusively or the other way exclusively. We always seem to tread somewhere down the middle, and there's always butting of heads. There's always a fight going on. I want to know, there used to be a time in this country, and it wasn't consistent, but there was a time in this country when all of the politicians from both sides of the aisle would work together in common purpose toward a single goal. I don't understand. I don't understand where this shift has taken place. But what I see that has happened in my lifetime is a clear delineation, deviations from the norm, and a line of demarcation between the darkness and the light. Not to play on the words of my own books, but as a theme in life. A theme in life. I think that most people are good-hearted, generous, loving, kind. Most people are. Most. But the connivers and the insidious, greedy percentage of people that control the purse strings, that run the banks, that run the major corporations, are the same people that run Congress, that run our political system. And I have actually gotten to a point where I understand your unwillingness to vote anymore. Because the more I look, the more I see. And the more I see.
It's a crapshoot. It's like just going to Vegas.
I look at somebody like, potentially Joe Biden running for president, and then I juxtapose him. It is unkind for you to smoke in front of me, George Lopez, when you know that I can't just get up and have a cigarette. I would have to take the computer outside. You know that. And yet, you mock at me. You smoke right in front of me. No qualms. You feel no qualms about doing this. I know you don't.
Wi-Fi. Just Wi-Fi.
Okay. So anyway, I juxtapose that persona against someone like Donald Trump, who frankly scares me. I mean, he scares me more than any ghost ever did. And I look at that and I see the followers that he's got and the people that support his point of view, and I think, that could be millions. He could actually win the nomination for the Republicans. He could actually be president of the United States, and I would actually need to leave my own country and go where? And go where in the world? I don't want to freeze to death in Canada. There's nobody who's sane that's moving deliberately to Mexico. Where do you go to get away from that kind of insanity? There are times, George, I feel hopeless. There are times I look at the situation in the world and I think, what positive effect could I have? What positive power for change? What sword do I wield personally that's big enough to make a damn of a difference in the grand scheme of things? You and I have had this conversation a number of times personally. What difference does it make?
That's the problem to it. I think that you and I, fortunately, with a world awakening and some of these events that we get to go to, we have somewhat of a voice, which is wonderful. But all it is a soapbox to express our opinions and express our angst about what's going on. How many other people out there, how many people that are in the chat right now feel the same way? No, they're in agreement with what we are saying, but are just as frustrated. How many people out there that are doing these horrible things feel that they are so trapped or so controlled or so overpowered or so powerless that they are committing these horrible crimes against their neighbors right now there seems to be a greater and greater and greater division of race, a greater and greater division of class, and it's setting up for a major catastrophe, something that is going to happen. Do I care if Joe Biden is president, if Hillary Clinton is president, or if Donald Trump is president? No, I don't. I don't, because no matter what happens as far as the presidential election's finale to it, there are still those, the profiteers, those who are the lobbyists, those who are the real movers and shakers that are still, they control
owners of government. They
the
own
puppet masters.
Yeah.
They're the puppet masters. There's nothing that really that anybody in that title, that seat, that position are really going to do, unless they lock themselves behind the door of the Oval Office and have 30, 40, or 50 of the Secret Service out there with machine guns protecting them, and they're orchestrating everything from that room, everything from the computer in that room, and say, this order, this order, this order, this order, it will be carried out by presidential order. Even then, they're still going to have to deal with Congress and the Senate. It's just, and again, I don't want to go political on this because that was not the point of this discussion tonight, but it's a point that needs to be unfortunately brought up because it controls every aspect of our lives, including our healthcare, including it. And we, as you said, Andrea, we are very, very, very lucky to be in this country still because of all the things that are provided to us for a fee that is provided to us. So I find myself at this point in time, again, getting to the frustration, getting back to the point of it, is that why would any species superior to us, any divinity, any spirit that has escaped from this earthbound position want to assist us? First of all, how could they? And secondly, when we are doing what we're doing to each other, we are starving our own species. We're the only species on this planet that starves its own kind on purpose. We're the only one. What?
George, we're the only species on this planet, the only race on this planet that fouls its own nest, that tortures members of its society, that tortures and rapes and kills and maims and finds unique and unusual, always something new, always a new and more horrific way to exterminate ourselves. We are the pestilence on the planet. Planet Earth would be great without us. Great. It would thrive without us. It would be able to breathe without us. This is a living organism that we inhabit, and we treat it like garbage beneath our feet. How can, you know, I'm a Barack Obama supporter. You think my fist wasn't flailing in the air this past week while the President of the United States is touring around the world talking about the incredible importance of addressing climate change around the planet at the same time that his administration is signing off on oil drills from Shell up in the Arctic, in the only pristine part of this country left? And they've proven over and over again that there's no safe way to drill for oil, that this is going to be the Valdez all over again. This is going to be Prince William Sound all over again. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And yet this administration, while the president, the supposed leader, is out touting what we have to do to change our minds about saving our world, is signing off on probably the most destructive drill site on the planet. Oh my God, what do you call that? You can't call that a contradiction. You can't call that hypocrisy. That's a whole nother level of, are you kidding me?
I try to wrap my head around these individuals of position of power, I know they have offspring. I know they have children, some of them even grandchildren, some of them possibly even great-grandchildren, and are in positions of power, and they don't contemplate the future. I mean, is it, great, all wonderful if they have these caves, they have these tunnels that they're going to live under for 10, 20, 30 years while the smoke clears, that they've maybe got some sort of a horticulture system that's going to allow them to breathe in this cave for the next 10, 20, 30 years. But is that what they want for their kids? Is that what they want for their children, for their offspring? I don't understand the mentality. It's a greedy, in the moment mentality. I call it stripper mentality. Live right here, get what I can get out of it because tomorrow may not exist. I don't get that. I just don't. For people of power and position, why not take the advantage of that position to provide for the future? I don't get it.
I don't either. And that's why I say over and over and over again as I shake my head in mortal disbelief, I don't belong here. I just don't belong here. How could I belong here? This is foreign territory to me. I've tried my best to assimilate. I have tried my best to make sense of it, George. But it literally leaves me breathless. It leaves me speechless. It leaves me angry. It leaves me unfulfilled. And it leaves me feeling powerless. And I have so many people that listen to my lectures and, follow me to this event or that event. God bless them. If I offer them in what I have to say and contribute even a little glimmer of hope for the future, I'm glad for that. And sometimes I really do feel it. Sometimes I really do feel like it's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. We're pretty smart. We'll figure this out. And then there are days like today, when I couldn't get out of my mind what I watched last night. All day. And we had such a great day. It was Mom's birthday and a lot of company and cake and ice cream, and it was great. And then we sat down and we watched 60 Minutes. On Sunday night, we watched 60 Minutes. And all day long, as we were having all these festivities, I remember the scenes of a journalist, a photojournalist, a cinematographer that got caught while he was doing some reporting in the shelling of the sarin gas, the Syrians that were gassed by Assad. And he recovered enough to actually go out into the field and film it. And they showed it, George. They showed it all. I got to see people dying. Watch them die. And how they died from a chemical weapon that should not exist on this planet, let alone ever be used against another human being. And I felt hatred in my heart. Hatred in my heart for that son of a bitch. Hatred for anybody that pulled they described the sound of the bombs coming in and they were waiting for explosions, but it didn't explode. It sounded like a powder puff landing. And then it dispersed. And I watched people die. And Christine's like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I said, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. She said, this is no different than going on YouTube and watching somebody from ISIS be burned alive in a cage or watch somebody be beheaded live. I said, no, I won't do that. I won't go there. I won't look at that. But we're supposed to see this right now. This is right in front of us right now. We're supposed to see this. And I tell you, I can't shake it. She can't shake it. Mom can't shake it. This was for about 20 minutes on Sunday night. And then the next day is Mom's birthday, and we all celebrate. And there's so much to celebrate and be happy about. And yet it haunts us and haunts us. because I saw children die live. I mean, this was caught live on film, and he smuggled the film out of Syria and is showing it to the whole world now. And if we do not look at it, George, if we do not face down the evil that exists in the world, it will take over. It will. It's inevitable. It might be a handful of people, but can't that handful of people do the same thing that the handful of greedy bastard bankers that run our society do? Can't it be the same? Won't it be the same? Isn't it just a different face of evil? Isn't it just greed and avarice and sloth? Isn't it just evil? Evil does exist, George. Make no mistake. Play the devil's advocate if you want to. You know, that these are concepts that we've made up. Good versus evil. I think that they are concepts that we have labeled. Not that we have created. That we have labeled. Because they are important. And they are at odds with each other. And they are what dictates which direction our life goes off in, depending on what country that we were raised in, what sex we were born, what color our skin happens to be, what our sexual orientation might be. All of these things factor into how we are perceived by our fellow human beings, how we are treated, what religion we are. You know, there's one religion on this planet that has approximately 500,000 members. Total. Church of Christ. Total. 500,000 members. And they absolutely believe that they are the chosen ones. That they are the only ones that will be saved. Out of 7+ billion people, they are the only ones that will sit at the right hand of God, and Jesus will usher them through the pearly gates, and there's St. Peter waiting for them, and they are the only ones, and they're absolutely certain of it, zealous about it. And all the rest of us are destined to burn in hell for eternity. When you are living in a society where that kind of ignorance is so pervasive that it literally determines the course of your life, who you interact with, how you are educated, what you believe, what your belief system is, how you live, who you live with, how you live around them, how do we ever get past that? There's only one escape as far as I am concerned. We have to think ourselves free. Thoughts are things. We have to create enough vibration and frequency and resonance with an idea of freeing humanity from its own 3-dimensional, 5-sensory prison, that we are able to free ourselves from the society that we've created.
That type of talk is alien, if you will, to the standard human being out there. And how I mean that is, you're talking about 500,000 in one style of religion. You look at every style of religion. You look at the fanaticism of the Muslim faith. You look at the fanaticism of the Christian faith. And it is fanaticism at its basic core. You're not going to change that mindset for somebody to expand their mind and get out of the realm of where they think they are just this one single form. Do they believe in their eternal soul? Of course they do. But they don't think in the terms of the collective of the human race. They don't think of the future of this race and of this planet. You know, I would be thrilled to death, and I still can't wrap my head around it again, other than the fear of losing power.
Yeah.
Is why are we working so minutely with space exploration? Why is so little committed to something so important, so huge, so vast in potential, when they do discover, and they have discovered, Goldilocks planets, planets that are equivalent to our own, they know that they exist out there. They have pinpointed certain ones already that we are not looking to plan now. God forbid, even if it was not our own undermining, even if it was not our own doing, destroying this planet, if there was an asteroid in a theatrical style coming our way that was just going to wipe every living thing off this planet, down to microbes, everything gets destroyed. Do we have a backup plan? No. I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around. There's not one person of authority, position, and power, and I'm not talking about Obama or Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton. I'm talking about these moguls.
Yeah.
Why is there not one philanthropist sitting there going, guys, we got to look at that, because I have great-grandchildren, and yes, maybe they will be the first ones to get there because I've got the money, but it's an open opportunity down the way, and I'm just blown away by that.
Yeah.
We have no backup plan whatsoever.
No. I know. It seems to me that every dime on this planet should go in terms of managing, first of all, managing to feed everybody that's on it, and there's plenty of food to do that. America throws away enough food every year, just what we throw away to feed the rest of the hungry world. Every year. Logistically, how do you get it there? There's a way to solve every problem that we've created, George, but I don't understand why all of our money doesn't go into the space program and into
farming, agriculture. Yeah, there's a multitude of things that need to be looked at and visited, and it's not in any capacity. I just look at it as if they just look in the wrong direction. And I think what truly happens in my thoughts, is every senator, every congressman, every politician who's able to submit a law or a bill to become a law has an agenda that is going to put money in their pocket, that's going to benefit them and them alone on a monetary scale, and not society in a whole, as a whole. I see that seems to be the agenda all the time. They've got this great thing that they've been showing. Google has been working on a running robot. You've seen that on Facebook. Google's been working on a four-legged animal. All these things are creature comforts, unless you're going to apply that towards somebody who's a paraplegic or quadriplegic. But if you're just going to do that so you can have bionics, which will probably be, you and I have talked about this a lot of times, which will probably be militarized before anything else transpires.
Right.
Where, again, because it's money in the pocket of that politician, I can't fathom that there is not 7 billion people on the planet. The 1% of that is still a hell of a lot of people, and still not one goes, maybe we got to think this from a different angle. Proverbially, we're sliding off the cracker as a race, and somebody's eating the cracker at the other end, and we're running out of room.
Yeah.
We're running out of room, and it's scary.
And, there are philanthropists who are doing great work. Bill and Melinda Gates are doing fabulous work. They're drilling wells all over, all different countries in Africa that have either groundwater issues or simply don't have wells. They're running electricity into remote villages. They're producing laptops and, hooking kids up to the internet and educating children all over the world by the millions. The Clinton Global Initiative is doing work in so many different ways. But George, God forgive me, there are times it feels like it's too little too late. It's just too little too late, and there's not enough people on board, and there's not enough people who even know what's going on in the world. You know, Chris looked at me tonight, and I don't even remember what we watched, but she reached over and she kind of slapped my arm, and she pointed at the TV and she said, "Those people vote. Those people vote." And Cindy was here, and she's like, the amount of ignorance that I see, what I hear, you know, what just in the people that I'm surrounded by, it is astounding to me how ill-informed people are, how they will spout what they are taught through very questionable sources in the media, and just, you know, not even think it through themselves, just spout it right back, you know, kind of garbage in, garbage out. You know, you said one time, we're not people anymore, we're sheeple. And I said to you, oh, how cynical is that? But it's also true. It's also true. We are led around by little rings in our noses as a society. We do what we are told. We pay the taxes that we are told. We don't have a choice. We don't. And we're all too busy just trying to survive to actually do anything to change it. And it's also convoluted, and it's also insidious that you can't even see what the real truth is and who's actually running the show and the man behind the curtain. You don't even know who it is to be angry at.
It's convoluted, but at the same time, it's very, very clear to those who pay attention. And it's not being paranoid to accept the fact, look, our phones are being monitored.
Yeah.
Every time that we upload our Google and our Facebook, we're being monitored. Our actions, our thoughts, our opinions. This show right now is being monitored.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to one simple thing, is that if you go against the grain, you will be targeted in one way, shape, or form before you could even get out of the gate to try and change things. There's no way to change things. If they cannot suppress you by your financial burdens and by your social burdens and your social distractions that are out there, and there are a ton of social distractions. How many of us sitting around out there and they've got their phone up and they're just going to town? You go to a restaurant, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you go anywhere you go, and everybody's got their face in this little box right now. They're distracted from what's going on, telling you it's almost a mockery in the sense of we're being told, do not look up, don't pay attention, focus on that, focus on your Twitter account, focus on your Snapchat. It's crazy. You're listening to A World Awakening, a special broadcast through the generosity of Norine on Paranormal Zone TV with Andrea, Perron, and myself, George Lopez. I hear Norine walking around in the background there. Norine, you there?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh no, honey, hi.
Hi. You guys are awesome. This is what you should be doing every week.
You get too angry.
The viewers are loving it. You had a huge crowd tonight. You had 45 people in here tonight.
Oh. Hey, there's no way that if they wanted to call in and give their opinions, are they able to do that, or it's just through the chat?
It's just through chat.
Okay. Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity to vent on Paranormal Zone TV tonight. Thank you, dear.
Well, this is your video, so when it's over with, you're welcome to upload it to your channel.
Yay, great.
Yeah, it's not mine. It's yours, honey. It's not mine.
She's so great. Yeah. She's awesome. Norine is the first person, George, who ever gave me a national venue. Norine was the first one who asked to interview me before, right after the first book came out. It was well before. Remember, Norine? It was well before the movie.
Oh yeah, it was before the book came out.
And we, no, the first book was out, but the movie was still in the planning stages when the first book came out. And you somehow got a hold of the first book or heard about it and contacted me and asked me to come on your show. And I was like, oh my God. Somebody wants to interview me about the book, Mom. Oh my God, this is so great. You know, and we became fast friends.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's audio. I think it's on George's side. George, when you play this back, George, listen to the audio. So when you do your YouTube channel, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes there's audio issues, and I don't know. I think it's coming from your end, not Andrea's.
It's quiet here.
But George, you'll understand. There you go. See, it's doing it again.
Yeah, I just went on mute. Now I'm back on again. I just went on mute for a second. It's a very good possibility. I've got the AC running, a fan running, so it's a good possibility.
Sounds like pouring. Is it raining there? It sounds like it's pouring.
No, not at all. It might be where where I'm set up also on my camera, that it's at a sensitivity level too high, and I'd have to make those adjustments. I just don't know how yet. I've got to work for that. Norine and myself, we're going to get together here next couple of days. She's going to show me how to do this incredible YouTube live. We're going to do it on our World Awakening page, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we should do this from now on here? You guys enjoy this more? I mean, we've been doing Blog Talk for 8 years. I have enjoyed it for 8 years. I will keep that running for the other shows. But you know, the frustration of the last 2 weeks have kind of let me down and left me a little frustrated. And so let me know what you guys think there in the chat if you're interested in doing that. I am going to go on mute here for a second, Andrea, so I can quickly run to the restroom, which I could usually do on the other show. I'm going to have to look for some kind of headphones that I can take with me, Wi-Fi wise. I'm coming with me to the bathroom.
Nobody needs to go to the bathroom with you. You are allowed to take a 5-minute break and go to the bathroom. I'll go have a cigarette and be right back.
Wait a minute, we can't both leave.
Well, of course we can. For Christ's sake, everybody else can go use the bathroom at the same time, too.
We can't leave at the same time.
All right, fine. You go first, then. Oh, my God.
In the middle of a show.
Okay.
And then you and Norine talk, and then I and Norine will talk.
Okay.
And then...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one more thing, Andrea.
See? Do you see what I put up with? Now you know. Now you know. Oh, God. Oh, God. I mean, I got so stressed out when we couldn't get the show open, honey. Oh, my God. The thought of disappointing any of them, leaving anybody hanging. I mean, we had 24 people in our Blog Talk Radio chat room that just stayed there and talked amongst themselves for an hour while we tried to figure out what to do here.
Well, honey, you got my phone number. All you had to do was call me. It's a good thing I went over to Facebook.
Well, it's because I willed you to go over to Facebook because I'm in Georgia. My phone book is in Florida, and I didn't know how to get in touch with you any other way.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so thank God. I told you I willed you to go look at your messages in Facebook.
Yeah, because I was going to work on my show for Thursday, and then I don't know why I went over there, and then I saw a message from you. What are you doing, honey? And I go, what's up?
Oh, we're just hanging out here by a thread. You think you could just step in and rescue both of us simultaneously?
Oh, my God. Look, write down my phone number so it's always there. And anytime I can help you, I'm always here to help you.
Well, I really think that we're going to go with your system because you and I have hardly ever had any trouble with this. Once George knows how to do it, then we'll just promote our YouTube channel and put all of the other shows that are archived are there anyway. So it just makes perfect sense that people can pick us up on YouTube. And both of us use Skype frequently. We have been writing our book together using Skype. We are on Skype constantly. So I'm very familiar with it, very comfortable with it, and I like your system better. I do.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you have almost double the amount of people watching your show than you would have had on Blog Talk Radio. You know, people love to see video. They love to see your face. They love to see you talking. It's so much better than radio.
God, I can't imagine why.
Oh,
yeah, me either, because I look like a hag tonight, and I was not even remotely. I am sweaty. My hair is a mess. I look like a squirrel. And you know what? This will probably get a bajillion hits.
No, honey, really, people don't care what you look like. They just want to see you, and they want to see George. That's why they're loving the show, because they can actually see you.
Okay, well, now on, I'll slap a little makeup on Tuesday nights and do this the right way. And I agree. I think that there's a lot more to be said when you can actually see a person's facial expressions while they're talking. I think that it's more telling. I think that in that respect, each one of us is a book, and every expression is a different page in it. And also, I think that another thing that's important is that people can see when you're talking to them what your sincerity is. I am very mindful when I meet somebody new for the first time. Automatically, just look at their face and see if they can comfortably make direct eye contact. If they're shuffling a little bit, or if they're just right there in your face, like boom, here I am, welcome to my world, and you pick up a whole different vibe when you're able to see somebody, even in a video format. So, I'm all for this. I think that this was the cosmos saying, time to up your game, kids.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been telling you for a long time to go this route. And
but George is the boss of me, though, Norine.
Oh, that's right. George is the boss.
It is. All I do is show up and run my mouth. He does all the work. He does. God bless him. I am a techno idiot. I mean, compared to him and the way that he navigates around the internet, and compared to somebody like you that's got, all of this, you got your own network going, he's got his own network going. You have a level of savvy that I have just not attained. And I'm busy just trying to pump out one book after another. So I rely on him to have all the gobbledygook and the inner workings going, so that I don't have to learn something new when my brain's already ready to explode.
It's
got a
nice.
Smartphone. Oh my God. It's going to take me a year to figure out all the different functions. I'm still trying to figure out how to tap on the thing to answer it while I'm on the road and the little green button lights up.
Honey, I'm not there yet either. I don't know how to use them. I just don't know how. Did George come back yet, or is he still doing his little thing?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh.
See, never mind. No, never mind. George, come back on up and talk to Norine so I can go and it's my turn.
Yeah, well, my picture's not coming back up with video, which is pissing off certain of you perverts there in the chat, voyeurs, but hopefully it'll come back up again. It says it's...
that's Kara Davidson's here. That means Lynn Bowling is here. That means Tracy Sparks is here.
Yep.
Kara's here.
They're there.
All our pervs, all of them.
Yep.
Well, no, there's more than that. But Kara's right. She carries the freak flag. That one.
I would have loved to, if we're going to do this thing on YouTube now, I would have done the Bill Cosby thing and worn a different sweater each week, but I don't want any reference to Bill Cosby, so I'll try something else.
All right, talk to Norine. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll do. We're doing that. Norine tomorrow night kicks off. the new season of Ghost Hunter. You gonna watch? Are you a watcher of the paranormal shows?
No, not so much anymore since I don't do paranormal investigating anymore. I know, I'm sorry, but I can't get interested in it. When I used to do paranormal investigating, there wasn't a paranormal show I did not watch, but I don't do that anymore, so I just do my shows. So I'm really not interested in that stuff anymore.
You armchair quarterback, you.
So I can't believe Ghost Hunters is coming back for what, 10? This is the 10th season? Oh, George, I lost your audio.
No, I just went on mute for a second because you were cutting out from my side. That's why. So, again, whatever is broadcasting from this side that sounds like rain or weather or whatever, I'm just going to mute when you guys are talking so that it doesn't distract, so that they can hear you guys respond. So, what is it you were saying?
Oh, I'm really surprised that Ghost Hunters is back on for a 10th season.
The funny part behind it, I have kind of an inside track that was surprising. They have filmed nearly, I think, 23, 25, or 27. I don't know why I picked the odd number, but something of that degree that they already have done the investigations and put it into the vaults as backup. I don't know whether or not that means they're going to take an extended time off. But I mean, if they usually do what they do, which is anywhere between 5 and 7 episodes, and then they go into a break, and then they do more. That means it's going to go on for a while yet. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how this is received. We'll wait and see how the show, because that's the one thing that really kind of blows my mind lately. As I've been mentioning the last couple of weeks, I recently broke down and started getting Netflix. And Netflix has got some fantastic shows. I went and watched from start to finish Breaking Bad, which I thought was a fantastic show. And then from there, I decided to watch different series, different shows that are on there. I went back and looked at MASH. Remember MASH?
Yeah.
That was like the show when it was out back in the time in the 1970s. At that time, and the way that they have it set up on Netflix, it's season 1, episodes 1 through whatever. Season 1 of MASH had 24 episodes. That means every week for 24 weeks they did a show. And then they'd come back. They go under hiatus for however long, then they come back and do it again. But 52 weeks a year, 24 of those weeks they had a show. And now, whether it's Game of Thrones, whether it's Ghost Hunters, whether it's Ghost Adventures, whatever show you're watching, they do about, I think, a maximum of 8 episodes, and then there's a hiatus, and then they do another 8, and then there's a hiatus. In some cases, you have to wait an entire year. I used to be big into Grey's Anatomy. I walked away from that because I hated waiting for the new season. And Game of Thrones is getting on my nerves the same way now, too.
Hey, George, can I interview you for a second?
Love it. Go ahead.
I don't know that much about you, and I think you're really awesome. When I hear you and Andrea speak, I've watched some of the videos at your conferences, and I am in awe of both of you. So I would really like to know something about you. How did you get involved in the paranormal? What's your background?
Okay. Well, as far as the paranormal is concerned, background-wise, it was the reverse of, I think, what most people would always say. A lot of the times, even when we've asked that same question on the show, Norine, it's always been, why did you get started into this? And people said, I had experiences. I had things happen when I was young. I lived in a house that was haunted, and I wanted answers. Kind of indicative of the shows where they said the same thing. Whether it was Ryan Buell or it was Zach Bagans saying, I had an experience and I wanted to get more answers out of it. I didn't have any. There were things that happened in the house in New Jersey, and we had our own ghost that we named, but it was almost that tongue-in-cheek kind of way. We didn't really think we had a ghost in the house. Just when things happened, we blamed it on the ghost. And, from a personal standpoint, as far as apparitions, physical manifestations, things of that sort, never had any kind of experience whatsoever. And so when I moved to Central Florida, I really became fascinated and interested in going to St. Augustine, which is only 30 minutes away from where I live now. And I wanted to experience the paranormal. And since this place was per capita reported to be the most haunted location,
Right.
I went out and took the minimal equipment at that time, which was recorders, 35 millimeter camera, which is barely ever used anymore, and started investigating primarily at the main cemeteries in St. Augustine, Huguenot, Palomado Cemetery, then to the lighthouse, and then to the old jail. And I started getting more and more experiences. I started capturing more and more evidence, and that is what got me hooked. I was hooked from that point forth, and never ever looked back. Now I can say, Norine, that I'm very similar to you now in the sense of I don't go out every single weekend. I mean, there are people out there like Dave Spinks, good friend as an example, who is a soldier when it comes to this. That man is constantly going out and doing investigations. Ken Szymanski, constantly going out. Matthew Slozer, constantly going out and doing these investigations. I got to the point, from a mental standpoint, that I knew spirits existed. I know spirits existed. I collect, just a collaboration of so much audio and video and photography that were indisputable, that it was no longer an aspect of me going out and validating what it was I experienced. I won't do residential cases for the simple fact of what I've experienced in the many years I did residential cases, that people are scarier than ghosts. I backed off from that. But every once in a while, when an opportunity comes up to hit a historical haunt, if Andrea and I are going to a specific event, such as coming up here pretty soon, we'll be going to an event at Disney. We'll be going to an event at Mace Stringer House at the beginning of October. We'll be going to New Orleans at the end of October. And those are great opportunities to go out there and investigate. But I do it now for the personal experience. I could go out there with just my smartphone, run whatever apps are on there, run my recorder off of there, run my video off of there, take pictures off of there, and be just content and just get those personal experiences. I am no longer trying to build a database. I did that for a long period of time. There are thousands of investigators that continue to do that, and I respect what it is that they're doing because I've been there. But I've just gotten to the point in time now. It's not an aspect of being jaded, just being a little bit more pragmatic in my time. And I think that I could do more with A World Awakening and with Primetime Paranormal than I could ever do going out and doing investigation weekend after weekend after weekend.
Awesome. I agree with that. Awesome.
I feel the same way too. And it's, for me, it's, and I said to George after he took me to a place called Kerr City in the Ocala National Forest, and I said to him after the event was over, I'm out there in the field trying to prove the existence of something that I know exists, and that seems counterproductive to me. And I had sensations and was revisited by feelings that I hadn't felt since I was a child, and I don't want to. I just don't want to feel that again. I know that it's there. I know that it's real. And I know that it's part of our reality, our all-encompassing reality. And so I don't need to prove it to myself over and over and over again. So I'm really on the same page, but I think for a little bit different reason than George is. And all of my interest, virtually all of my interest, is in the extraterrestrial question. And disclosure in whatever form or in multi-forms that it comes. That's all that makes any sense to me, because I can't think of anything that would have more of an impact on humanity than that. having clarification on that. And I've seen enough to know what I know, but that doesn't really serve any purpose. It just puts me in a situation where I can say, well, I've seen this and this and this and this, and you can either believe me or not believe me. That doesn't really forward any momentum. What I'm working on is very personal. It's very one-to-one, and it hopefully will yield some results. And when that time comes, Norine, I will be happy to share it with you on your show, and I'll be happy to share it with George on World Awakening and anybody that's willing to listen. But I think that, we have bigger fish to fry, bigger nuts to crack than just spirit. I think ghosts are a foregone conclusion, and I think that anybody that denies that either has not had any kind of personal experience with it or is just really mortally afraid that we're telling the truth. And so fear seems to be the common, and when George and I started A World Awakening, Norine, it was on this foundation that we wanted to do our little part to help dispel the fear in the world. And it seems that our world society is governed by that emotion, and that in many respects it is the most powerful emotion. It seems to override and supersede even the emotion of love. And it's not until we love so powerfully that it literally defeats our fear, that we love more powerfully than we fear, that we actually overcome it. And I've said a long time now that the only way to really overcome our fear is to embrace it and to understand that it exists in our emotional makeup for a reason, but just to let it do its job. Let it be a worker bee and not the queen. Let it just be a pawn on the chessboard, not the queen or the king. Let it serve its purpose and have its role, but not let its role be the dictator of our life experience. So that's really where I'm coming from now, and I don't feel the need to investigate except for about compiling more and more and more. I sent him a video, an audio clip that we got at the cemetery up in Harrisville a couple of weeks ago. And I was all excited because it was an awesome audio clip that was captured, EVP, that was captured while we were at the cemetery. And I sent it to George, and he's like, oh yeah, Cody sent this to me a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, isn't it great? And he's like, yeah, well, we already know she's there. It was Bathsheba.
What was on the clip? What was the EVP?
I was talking, George, if you've got it available, just stick it in the chat box. For people to listen to. It's only 10 seconds long, and I was just talking to a whole group of people that were there, and in the background of it, and none of us heard it because you could clearly hear from the audio clip that no one, including myself, actually heard it. But in the background, it almost sounded like a voice in an echo chamber. And it was a female voice that yelled Bathsheba at the top of her lungs.
Really?
It's an amazing catch. And George was underwhelmed. He's like, yeah, well, we know she's there. It's not like it's the first time we talked to her there, okay. And I guess you do get to and that's not being jaded. I don't think that that's being cynical or jaded. I think that that's it gets to a point where it just becomes a matter of fact. It's not speculation anymore. There she is.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the book that you and George are writing?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Oh, come on, just a little bit?
No.
Oh, come on, George. What's it about? Just give us a hint. A little hint.
It's about 400 pages long.
Okay, but is it okay? But the topic, is it paranormal? Is it UFOs? What is it?
No, it has really nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the paranormal in the context of what Andrea is known for, what I'm known for, what the field is known for. There are paranormal factors in this story, but it is
A little supernatural
primarily,
twist to it.
yeah, it is it's a psychological roller coaster ride that the best way that I could describe it, based upon our proofreaders, is the most incredible amount of hatred that you could love, and it's that I can't give it to you. Right now, to give you an idea, Norine, we're getting to the point in time now where we have to put what that synopsis is, on the inside of the book. If somebody picks up the book and they look at it and they have to read that little passage there that kind of summarizes.
Yeah.
We are twisting and turning our thought processes on how we can explain this book in that synopsis without explaining this book in that synopsis. That gives you a frustration of why we can't tell you an inkling about this story, or anybody else for that matter, because anything we give is a spoiler. Right, Andrea?
Yes.
Is it based on experiences?
It is absolutely. Let me take a stab at this. It is an absolutely fascinating. That was just for you, George. It is a fascinating, incredibly dramatic story that has been brewing in George's head for a quarter of a century. And about a little more than a year ago, during one of our late night conversations, he decided to tell me this story, and it took a couple of hours. And when he was done, I said, "You absolutely have to write this down." And he said, "I'm not a writer." And I said, "I don't care what form it comes to me in. I don't care. Just give me what you just said to me over the course of this conversation, put it down, and put it in a Word document, and then send it to me, and let me start." And so what I got was basically a very elaborate screenplay with lots of character development, lots of, all these people that have been running around in his brain for all this time. And he found the wherewithal to put it down. And I have taken it and worked with him to turn it into what 3 people have now called a literary masterpiece.
Oh
and
my God.
One of our proofers, who was professional editor for many years, said to us in a 3-way Skype, she said, it's as if it was written by a higher intelligence. She said, "These characters will haunt me for the rest of my life."
Oh my God.
And then we turned it over to an author friend of ours who basically said, "I will never stop having this story live in my mind for the rest of my life. These characters will never leave me. They sneak up on me when I least expect it. I keep going back over and over again and we only sent her, I think we were at about maybe 80% that was polished and ready, and the rest of it was still in raw form at the time. And she just bashed right through it and said, "This is brilliant. This is unbelievable." And I've got to tell you, Norine, I give all credit where credit is due, and that credit goes to George. I can make it sound fancy, and I can clean up the syntax, and I can format it and lay it out as a book and all of that and everything. I'm not diminishing my contribution to the cause. But if he hadn't produced this story, I wouldn't have had anything to work with. And it is an amazing amalgamation of fact and fiction. Mm-hmm. And what's most amazing about it is that what's most stunning about it comes directly out of recorded history.
Oh my God. George, how long were you carrying that story in your mind?
25 years. And I guess it's no different than, you've heard of other filmmakers, other writers who have held out to something for the appropriate time, not even expecting when that time would be. This was the appropriate time, working in collaboration with Andrea. I handed her a 37-page rough draft, 237 pages. It's now at about 400. It will probably be reduced down slightly once it gets to the publisher. The funny part, and the thing that we're probably really going to enjoy more than anything else, is being able to tell the tale of the travels getting this story together. The hiccups, the obstacles, the parallels, the strange cosmic interventions and messages and notes that were happening throughout this. My main character, as an example, had to have and I'm not giving much away here, but it had to have an altered ego. Alter ego.
Oh, yeah.
And his alter ego, I had to come up with a name. First name that I came up with, out of the top of my head, already existed in the historical tale.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the second name I came up with as an alter ego turned out to have current significance. A week after I came up with the name, it came up on the news. It was almost as if the cosmos was guiding along the way to say, no, okay, no, okay.
Wow.
Now's the time. Now, and it's just been, and this is the hard part, Andrew, and I just had this discussion maybe about 4 days ago. Even after the book is out, whether we are at a book conference, a book signing, a book lecture, there are going to be people that when they come in there, unless they've read the book, it's going to be a spoiler. If we talk about it on A World Awakening after the book comes out, it's going to be a spoiler. Anything that we give out here is going to be very, very difficult for people to not want to get curious about, and yet if we give them too much, it ruins the entire experience for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
When's the book? When do you think the book will be published?
Well, we're about ready to submit it. We have to do our final read through. I would say we'll do our final read through within the next week, and then it will be submitted. And it takes about 6 weeks until we'll actually have it in hand, which will be right in time for us to premiere it at the Undead Con, which is the Anne Rice Paracon down in New Orleans. And it will be a perfect fit for that community because it does have a supernatural twist to it. It does have, there's something otherworldly about this story.
Wow.
That some of my readers will find absolutely shocking. And I've been warned.
Got that right. You got that right.
Oh my God.
They're going to read it. Some of my readers are going to read it and say, there's no way Andrea's hands were on this. No way. And yet they'll read it and go, there she is.
Oh my
She's
God.
right there.
Do you think this would make a good movie?
Oh my God. It was a good movie. It was a great movie that's already playing in his skull that he turned into words. And I guarantee you, I already have a producer who's chomping at the bit for this.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Little insight. This is really not going to have any relevance to our listeners. It really is not. But I think it's just it personifies so much of what this story means to both of our proofreaders. I sent them a video after they read the books. Now, this is something again, I have to talk in code. I can't really give much away.
Be very dear. Very vague.
I have to. The title of the movie is the movie. The title of the book is In a Flicker, and I did a video for what I would picture if this was a movie, Norine, would be the opening credits of this story, and it was put to a specific song, and this song was given to me by the Cosmos also, and I wish I could explain that to you also, and hopefully we will have that opportunity. Once you've had the opportunity to read the story, I'll send you the video. Everybody that is asking about the video, I will send you the video, because Norine, both of our tears.
Oh no.
Sobbed.
Oh my God. How long is this video, George?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Oh my
4
God.
minutes that will change your life with images that you will never, ever forget.
Oh.
And put the thing together out of his own imagination in less than an hour, start to finish. And it is brilliant. It's brilliant. It is. I mean, I can't watch it without just, it doesn't matter how many times I watch it. I choke on my own tears. It is so beautifully, beautifully done. And it captures and encapsulates the story in 4 minutes without giving anything away about the story. It's really incredibly well done. In the same way that George said to me, when we sent the manuscript out to our two main proofers, we have 2 men and 2 women that have been helpful to us on this, who will be acknowledged for their assistance. But the 2 women particularly really went very deep into the work. Not only looking to proof for, finding anything that I missed, anything that George missed, but also in terms of the character development, in terms of the flow of the story, in terms of, the meat and potatoes of putting together a really great book, not just your average story, but something spectacular. And both of them said that the video absolutely captured the emotional essence of the story, but that the imagery of it was so compelling that now when they think about the story and the characters, they see the video in their minds.
Wow.
Now, how's that?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I told them when we turned over the manuscript, I said, there are 30 chapters, and I want you to look at the index and look at the titles of the chapters. 28 of them are completely interchangeable with any number of other chapters in the book. There are only 2 that we couldn't use that chapter title to forward the momentum of the story. And both of them said, the titles are great to the chapters, but they don't tell us anything at all about the story until after you've read the chapter. And then you understand why its title is what it is. That it's just spooky the way that it is. And I said every single one of them was a gift. Every single one of them came from not my imagination. I don't know where they came from. But as we were going through it, George will tell you, as we broke this down, this was all written as one raw manuscript. And we broke it down piece by piece by piece. And then one day I was sitting here at this desk and said, this needs to be, we had it broken down originally into 3 chapters. Not good enough. It was just too intense. It was too long that way. And we had to afford our reader breaks in the action. And so I was just sitting here one day, and honest to God, within 10 minutes, I had the entire index written out with all the chapter titles.
Oh my God.
And I said, George, don't freak out now, because this is, where I'm seeing this going, and I don't even know where this came from, but let me send it to you and take a look at it. And he wrote back to me one word, brilliant.
Oh my God.
do you guys that are listening, you guys that are in the YouTube chat right now, would you like, because Andrea, I don't think we're giving a teaser. We are going to give very little away, but would you guys like the link to the YouTube video of the song that's in the movie that we gave to our proofreaders? Would you guys like to have that? Let me see what you guys say in the chat. This song is from YouTube. Now, here's the funny part about this song. It came out in 2008, and yet this song and this video was made for the story.
Yep.
When I sent it to Andrea, Norine,
Yeah.
she was freaked out. Freaked out.
Okay, now, George, did you? This video, this music came from you, so you were the composer of it.
Yep.
Oh,
Negative.
no?
It is a Canadian band by the name of Paper Beats Scissors,
Oh,
and the name of the song is Flicker.
Flicker.
And,
Okay.
And the video, so it was actually an older song of theirs. There you guys go. What did it say? It just said something. It says, message not sent. Oops. Remove any web addresses and try again. So you can't put an address in here? Or
no.
can you?
So what is it? Is it? Are you giving them the YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, you won't be able to put that in chat.
All right. So you guys know that here. I'll just put this very, very easy. Here's the name of the band, and it's Paper Beats Scissors. Okay, and then the name afterwards, type in Flicker. You can type it all on one line when you're in YouTube. That'll come up.
Yeah, and you know what, George? You can put it out on Facebook too. You can put the link out on Facebook if you want.
Yeah, I put it on the World Awakening page.
Okay, good.
But yeah. what was really, I know we only have about 9 minutes here before we'll end up here. But I'll tell you something, Norine. When we've been writing this book, Andrew and I, and this shows you how important that this has become to both of us. We fought. Andrew and I have fought for things that she wanted, or things that I wanted, for things she wanted out, or things I wanted in. We fought about this because it meant so much. It went from just being a story to being something very, very important to both of us, because of how it's written. It got to such a degree that it pissed off both of our proofreaders because they wanted to. I can't give anything away, but
I know what you want to say. You can't say it, George.
Let me put it this way: they became so invested in the main character that they wanted things to be different. And they were looking for flaws in the story so that it could be the way they wanted it to be, and they could not, and that pissed them off.
Oh my God! Well, I can't wait to read this book.
I take such great pride to make this a reality. I take such great pride to have Andrea co-author this with me, and for this story to be my first ever literature, and to get the responses we've gotten already by the small little group of people that we led into this crazy world of this story initially. I would love to see that same response once it gets out there to the public.
Sounds like you will, George. Isn't it amazing, Andrea, that he held this in for 25 years, and here you guys come together and you're helping him write the story. That's amazing.
Oh, it is. I couldn't be more honored. I said to him right away, Norine, you know me. It's all about purpose and reason and principles and values, and it's just who I am. That's my essential makeup.
And we threw that out the window.
Yeah, well, so to speak. And I said to him as we went through this initially, as it started coming to me, dozens of pages over the course of weeks, and I'm reading it, and I said to him one day, basically, there needs to be, for me, there needs to be a reason for this, for this.
Yeah, I agree.
And to share this story, for my involvement in it, and as it turned out, there was very much a reason in it for me, and I'll leave you with that mystery, but people will know. They will know when they read the book why it was so important to me to be a part of this. And I could not be more proud or more humbled to have been a part of this and to have worked the way that George and I have invested countless hours. There would be no way for us to ever add up how many hours collectively we have worked together and separately on this project to make this the very, very best that it could be. And we asked both of our women, our wonderful editors, what should we take out? What do we need to take out? Do we need to cut this down? Is it just too long? Is it too dense? Is it too this? Is it too that? And they both said the same thing. Don't change anything. You can't take anything out of this without compromising it to its own detriment. Don't touch it.
Oh my God.
When we finish a show here, Norine, is there a way that we can still stay in Skype, or do we have to
Yes.
hang on?
Oh yeah. No, I can shut the show down and just keep you up.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, well, let's close it out. You do your thing since this is your.
No, it's not. No, it's not my show. You do your thing, honey. You do it,
All right.
and I'll shut it down when you're ready.
All right. Well, first thing I want to say is, Norine, again, thank you so much for being a very, very gracious friend, not a host, but a friend, to jump in and help us on this emergency night. Blog Talk will feel my wrath tomorrow, trust me. And this may be the evolution of a world awakening that we needed at this point in time. I will keep all of our listeners posted on Facebook, as will Andrea, and with some wonderful tutoring from Norine. Hopefully I can get as proficient with this YouTube live channel as she is to be able to broadcast on our Tuesday nights. But I want to thank you so much again for joining us. As far as the other shows, Wednesday night, of course, Paranormal Kool-Aid with Chris Medina, Paranormal Hood on Thursday night with Joey Jiggy Webb, Chatting with the Gods, I think it's called the Ron Alpha Show. On Friday, Sunday Night Dead with Matthew Slozer, running off the week. On Monday, Primetime Paranormal with Michael Bowler and myself. On behalf of Andrea and I, hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Go watch the video. Post on Andrea's page or my page. Andrea always does a little follow-up anyway on Tuesday nights. Post on Andrea's follow-up comments what you guys think of the video. And see if you can figure out what the hell we wrote. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Up to the stars.